and welcome back to the kind of finale of Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. I say kind of finale because it's the last board I wanted to cover, and, well, yeah, so kind of, unless we haven't shown on island mode, but okay. Sort of finale, that's what I'm calling it. So we're gonna go with different characters. This time, Isabelle and Digby. And it's probably going to be Digby going first? No, Isabelle. Okay, that makes it easy because of how I have everything set up. I thought to reorganize all the figures. Like, reorder them. I tend to, like, when I do this when I play everybody, I tend to set all the figures up in a row in turn order, make them easy to pick up. So, yeah. Again, not much happens in July. I don't think there are any events in July, actually. And there are only a couple events in September that are particularly special. In October, the actual gameplay is different. There's actually a substantial shakeup, which is why I'm showing this one as opposed to all the others. So 2 players, blah blah blah, no time limit. I don't know how much a time limit would actually affect this because you have to get to the end of the month. Well, because it's October, and you can see that little skull icon. Not skull, pumpkin icon. Yeah, kinda goes without saying. Trick or treat. Hehehe, I'm the mighty czar of the Halloween, Jack. I always wondered why he was called Jack. I don't actually know. Today's not the right day? Yeah, I understand the confusion. You're absolutely right. Today is most definitely not Halloween. Today I'm looking for loyal subjects to work for me on Halloween. Fate has brought us together, and you shall become my loyal subjects. Let's see that sweet, sweet candy. So, the gimmick of this board is we actually have to collect candy scattered across the board for the chance of additional happy points. I've scattered candy all over the town. You must grab as much as you can. When Halloween comes around on October 31st, you can trade your candy to me for happy points. Good luck! Now, we have to collect 80 pieces that scales depending on how many people you have. I think it's 180 if you have 4 people. 80 isn't too bad, we should make it. I actually went ahead because, like, 2 out of 4 times, I got really close, like 107. One time I got 179 pieces and then lost. Then, like, couldn't get to another piece in time. So, just to be on the safe side, I decided to basically go ahead and record what it actually looks like when you win, just in case we don't. So if we don't actually get that victory, I'll show both. Actually, I don't need to show the other one. It's just like Jack being like, oh, you didn't collect enough. Piece of cake, which we'll probably see, to be honest. So because you get happy points for collecting candy, it actually creates an interesting bit of strategy. Do you go for the candy and cut your initial happy point score down, or do you just ignore the candy and then potentially lose out on points in the end? So, decisions. To be honest, when I've played this, it all depends on how my turn is. If I'm like, oh, I have 100 turnips and I want to not sell them for a horrible price, I'll just go the inopportune way just for candy. If I mean, if there's nothing good to land on, but if there's like a space that's like I could sell turnips for like 400 bells, then of course I'm gonna ignore the candy because it's gonna add up to more in the long run. So, conveniently, Digby rolled a 6, so he can go down and collect that candy. Also, it is dependent on who has collected the most. For example, if one person collects, like, I don't know, a certain percentage of the candy, then they'll get more happy points in the end. So, that's kind of a fun little strategic aspect. In other Animal Crossing related news, I'm actually playing a different Animal Crossing as I'm recording this. I'm not even kidding. I'm actually playing New Leaf. Today's the fishing tourney, and I kind of forgot to catch a fish in advance like I usually do. So I am actually trying to catch a fish during movement turns. Yeah, I probably am exerting myself a bit too much, but oh well. So I got the golden fishing rod and the prerequisite for getting the golden net. So once summer rolls around, I'll be able to get the golden net, and I think I'll have all the tools if I do that. And also the museum progress goes along with it. I have like one statue to collect. It's the one that's like missing a head and has wings. I forget the name of it. And then there's like one diving fish that's left. And if I do those two things, I'll actually have completed the museum for the first time in the entire series. I've played every Animal Crossing that has been released internationally. And this is the closest I've actually come to, air quotes, completing Animal Crossing. Though I do admit this is not completing. Because if you were to be really precise with your definition of completion, you'd actually have to collect every item of furniture as well, at least at one point or another, so you can clear out the catalog. And to be honest, my luck with RNG is just terrible and just not too likely, because I've been looking for like a regal wall for about 3 months now, and just because of bad RNG, I haven't been able to find one. So that sucks. Speaking of which, I should actually check the store now, between turns. So turnip prices dropped already, so that kinda sucks. Basically had no opportunity to actually sell. But when they say down, that's usually good, because that means it didn't crash completely. Crashing is bad, dropping is just mildly bad, so I'll take it. I don't even see any good spaces anywhere nearby, which is a little bit worrisome. What else? I guess... Oh yeah, Pete actually has quite an extensive backstory. It's really complicated, actually, because he's sort of... There's kind of a love triangle thing going on, actually. So that's a thing. I need to stop saying that. I say that too much. So yeah, it's December, which is kind of an odd month to play October. I should just drag that as Let's Play across a whole year, and literally just play like one day every day. Like a real-time Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival Let's Play. Like that would take forever, but it'd actually be kind of funny. Also really tedious to record. Just one turn at a time. That means you could only... Oh man, a whole game would take 30 days. I don't think most people would stand watching a video series that was that spread out. That's happened to me sometimes, more with games than books, but yeah, that never is fun. As I'm playing one game considered the most boring of 2015, that's actually kind of ironic. I actually don't think it's that bad. I'd say, again, I said this before, but Chibi Robo to me is much worse of a game. And yet critics are relatively okay with it. It's like a 60, I think. Maybe, yes, something in the 60s. On the subject of Nintendo's very awkward year, Devil's Third just came out. And it's actually funny how Nintendo seems to be completely ignoring the fact that it came out, and to be honest, I can't blame them because of how horrible the game is. I have not played Devil's Third, nor do I plan to. I'm not really a fan of like Dead or Alive or Ninja Gaiden in the first place, so I don't have that like fan loyalty aspect of like, oh, an Igaki game. This will be good, right? Because it's Igaki. Which apparently that doesn't even save the game. What else is going on in the gaming world? It's not gaming, but Star Wars is a week away from when I'm recording this. It'll be actually less than a week by the time the video actually goes up. I'm gonna sell now just to be on the safe side. I can't say I'm looking forward to episode 7 that much. I mean, it's cool. I think it's cool that this is the first Star Wars movie in like 10 years. But I'm not sure if it'll actually be a good movie. I want to see it eventually. I just don't want to. I'm not like rushing out to see the like pre-order tickets and stand in line for the next week. That's not me. That's not my style. Well, it's a good thing I sold when I did, actually. This is what I was mentioning the last board. I think it was the last board. And it really sucks when this happens twice in a row. When turnip prices crash twice. That's like the worst. Fun fact, in the main games, I almost never actually buy turnips because of how unreliable the trading system can be. You never know what you're gonna get, so I don't trade turnips very much. Pretty sure some of the games had like a rule where you couldn't even like go to another town to sell turnips. I don't remember if it was like just the GameCube or if it was also Wild World, or if I'm just totally wrong, just flat out wrong. I could still be. Just cruising the beach, trying to catch fish in both Animal Crossings apparently. Apparently it's the 10-year anniversary of the release of Final Fantasy IV Advance. Coincidentally, yesterday at a game store, I didn't get it because I already own it. No, I don't own it. Dang it, I should have gotten it. Yesterday when I was at like one local game store, they actually had like an unopened copy of Final Fantasy IV Advance for like $30. It's like, I was seriously surprised, and come to think of it, I actually don't own Final Fantasy IV anymore. I probably should have gotten it. Oh well. I played the DS version a little bit. I finished it, but barely. The game is really hard. I hear the DS is the hardest version. I think they scaled the difficulty down for the Super Nintendo version. And then, okay, what I should be saying is, Final Fantasy has a really bizarre history. It started out on Super Nintendo. In Japan, Final Fantasy IV. That goes without saying. Then, in the US, there was a slight dilemma. They never released Final Fantasy 2 or 3 here. So in the West, they renamed the game Final Fantasy 2. It was also deemed too difficult, so they also toned down the difficulty. Ergo, Final Fantasy 2 is actually really easy, Final Fantasy 4 is actually not. As odd as it sounds, because of the naming conventions, the same game is like way harder. Basically just level grinding like crazy in that version. Okay, I'm looking at a GameFAQs / GameSpot forum. Some actually are saying, let's see, okay, apparently the DS version is the hardest version, and I'm not actually seeing anything about, wait a minute, blah blah blah. I finished around level 40s on Super Nintendo. On 3DS, I'm almost level 70. Okay, so according to some of these people on this forum, it's a GameFAQs forum, so take it for with a grain of salt potentially. Apparently, yeah, it is considerably harder on DS. Oh yeah, and there were translation issues. Famous translation issues. For example, the famous New Spoony Bard. They've never actually fixed that line because of how iconic they almost apparently did, but it's so iconic they changed it, which actually kind of ticks people off because in Final Fantasy VII on Steam and by extension PS4, they did indeed fix the Sky are sick line. I mean, that's an iconic line too. Why didn't they fix that? I mean, why did they fix that? To me, that is so funny. The Sky are sick. That I don't even care. That's a really horrible mistranslation. And Goof is just like, it's so funny. The Aerith is just like, this guy is sick. So cool about it. Final Fantasy IV also had religious references removed, from what I remember. Let's see. I'm looking through a list, by the way. Apparently the PS4, but the PS4 version added like a dash button. That would have sucked in the Super Nintendo. Apparently the PS1 version was even retranslated as well, and also had FMV opening, I think. The GBA version is actually not a port of the original, it's apparently a port of the WonderSwan Color version. And I'm saying WonderSwan Color as if I have no clue what it is, but I've heard of it, I just don't know what it is exactly. Apparently the GBA version has a new dungeon. Adapted version of the PS1 script. More character switching options apparently. Oh, Explorer Day. Actually brings us to the point that a lot of places aren't even celebrating Columbus Day anymore. Not to get political, but a lot of people are now finding out that Columbus wasn't exactly a great guy, so a lot of people have actually suggested not really celebrating Columbus anymore. Discovered America even though people were already here. That's strike one. And two, he apparently mistreated the local populace as well. So, yeah, a lot of people are just suggesting celebrating the actual people who were already here, like the Native Americans, instead of Columbus. To me, that kind of makes sense. And Animal Crossing avoids the subject by just calling it Explorer Day. Whoa, holy cow, the DS version has a lot of changes. Yeah, an increase in difficulty is definitely one of them. Different sprites entirely. I'm just trying to find out about the PSP and the Steam. Like apparently GBA is like kind of PS1 level, which is like original difficulty. DS like scales up the difficulty apparently even from the original Final Fantasy 4. Apparently different items equipped. They've took out the naming of characters because voice acting. PSP is apparently closer to the advanced version than the DS version. I would not be opposed to that. I will not lie, I actually struggled quite a bit with the DS version. I had to level coin a lot. Apparently there's some kind of censorship for the PSP version. Apparently it's uncensored in the GBA. That's kind of backwards in what you'd think about because of, well, the obvious lately. I personally have no issues with this kind of censorship, as long as it doesn't like affect anything major. Like, if you basically cut out an entire story sequence that's super pivotal. Okay, for example, if they had deemed... Okay, spoilers for Final Fantasy VII incoming, I'll give you a moment to skip ahead. Okay, so in Final Fantasy VII, imagine if they had cut out the scene of Aeriths, I can't say Aeriths, it's like plural very well. Like, imagine they cut out her death scene because it was too violent, and then there's just like this blank space on screen. And it's like, well, stuff happened off screen, but it's too violent to show. In that case, it isn't even that violent. I don't even think there's any blood in that scene. It's actually weird because there's blood on a lot of other spots of the game. Like, I know there's blood with the Midgar Solam. Oh, I said that with such confidence. Yeah, it's been a while since I played through all of 7. I was thinking about rebuying the HD version and like let's playing it. Just it'd be so blind actually because I haven't played the game in 3 years. You know, I'm talking about Final Fantasy so much. Just because there isn't much to talk about with this game. It's pretty low-key so far. Not a whole lot happening. We are about where I want to be, bell-wise, and also candy-wise, because we have a decent amount of bells stacking up, so going into the next week of trading, we should be in good shape. And also, we have quite a good amount of candy. We are almost halfway to our goal, so we should be able to make it 80 if all goes well. I'll explain the differences. I actually did not record the bad ending because I thought we'd be getting the bad ending. Yeah, it's harder with 4 people because you have to cover more ground actually, because it's actually more than double the amount of candy you have to collect with 2 players. Crud. Of course. Why am I not surprised? Just when I decide to sell, the prices go up. Well, I guess on the subject of Final Fantasy, another interesting thing is in Final Fantasy VII news, apparently the remake is being split up into multiple discs and multiple games, which, to be honest, a lot of people are losing their minds over. I'm all for it, because if they can churn out like multiple 20-30 hour games out of 7, which I think is perfectly feasible, that's totally cool. More 7, no prob. To be honest, 7 had a lot of spots that really were not developed enough. Like a lot of stuff about Zack, I think was kind of glossed over. Hence why Zack got his own game. What else? I feel like some of the other sequences, like maybe even the Honeybee Inn, could use a little more fleshing out. Because the whole scene is really iconic and yet also really strange at the same time. It doesn't really mesh with the rest of the game. I think they should probably work on that a little bit, trying to get the Honeybee Inn stuff to tie in a little better. Because it's weird having like this super serious stuff and then just have like Cloud cross-dressing immediately after blowing up a reactor. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of stuff in the middle, like when Cloud is gone and other characters take over, I feel like that could be fleshed out a lot more, like when Sid and his party have to go do a thing. I'm saying do a thing, not to be funny. I don't remember what the train part was all about. They were trying to stop a train from crashing into a village, right? But why was the train careening towards the village in the first place? I don't even remember. Yeah, it's been too long since I played Final Fantasy VII. I need any excuse I can get to replay it. And playing it on... I'll have to check the specs actually. So I don't know if my PC can handle it, because my PC is terrible. It can't even... Okay, one thing that happened recently was Jade Empire from BioWare was recently released on Steam with a new price of free temporarily. That was an awkward way to say it. But let's just put it this way. I couldn't even start the game on my computer. It's like a 2013 Dell Inspiron something. I don't know the specifics. I think it's Inspiron. I don't know how to say the name. And it can't run Jade Empire. And Jade Empire is what, like 9 or 10 years old? And takes up like how much RAM? And how much CPU? And it's just crazy that I can't even run on this like relatively new PC. I don't know why either. It feels like it should run because it's an old game. Though to be fair, I kind of feel like blaming EA because other PC games I have gotten from EA have had issues. The other one being Knights of the Old Republic. Again, how old is this game? How much RAM does it take up? Enough to crash a relatively new computer? Probably not. Probably just poor optimization. I mean, when you're taking a 10-year-old game and trying to put it in a format that a modern PC can read, that probably wouldn't be too easy. Now I'm curious. Now I'm gonna look it up. Specs. I'm so not a PC gamer. That's another thing. Hence why I have not done a single PC Let's Play yet. I was thinking about one Eternal Senja for Steam, because it's like an 8-bit RPG maker thing, so it runs. It actually will run on my computer. Like, the only things that will run on my computer game-wise are basically visual novels. Because they're very sprite and text-based. They aren't that hard on the CPU, or GPU, or RAM, or whatever. Please. Oh. I had hope for a fleeting moment. It's Twice I Stay. Again. I don't know, I feel like they should have emphasized the again more, because it's Twice I Stay Again. It's actually kind of an interesting phenomenon. Hence, Twice Dice happens twice. And yeah, it just would be perfect, wouldn't it? I kind of wish also they had like a special Twice Dice day. Like where it's like... Because, okay, Twice Dice is because it's like 22. I wish there was a thing where like it could be, if you got like 1111, I wish you could get like a special Twice Dice, like quadruple roll or something. There's a lot of things in this game that really could be better, but on the whole, I'm relatively happy with it. I'm not super happy with it, but it's okay. It's fun enough, I think. It's not like a brilliant game, but it's not the worst game I've ever seen either. Like Parallel Games Writer is claiming it's like top 10 worst games. I was gonna say top 5, but then I was like, wait, was it top 5 or was it lower than that? So I was like, maybe I should just say top 10 to get on the safe side. Yeah, I do not understand why this game is so hated. I mean, it's slow and it's very chill, but it's like it works, which is more than a lot of games these days. I mean, it's like I have not had a single crash in the game, unlike a ton of games I've played recently. Which also raises the very interesting point of, are games getting crashier lately? I would say, yeah. Like, Final Fantasy VII apparently crashes a lot on PS4. And PS4 is a brand new system. Yeah, they were still working out some of the bugs. The Steam version of Final Fantasy VII also had like the O-mouth glitch, which some find hilarious and others find disturbing. And everyone's mouths are hanging open all the time. To be honest, that would also make the PC version more fun to Let's Play. I don't know if that's in PS4. If you have it on PS4 and can confirm or deny if the O-mouth glitch is in that version, I'd appreciate it. You know, you've been playing Animal Crossing too long when you actually recognize the outfits in the background. So it wasn't that hard in this case. We only need 6 board pieces. Well, you luck have rained down on me. So Animal Crossing, Happy Home Designer I think is still the better of the two. Happy Home Designer is actually really solid. It's just kind of because it's a spin-off. It's not gonna be that good. It's not gonna be amazing. Okay, here's a question. Like, if I were to do question of the day kind of things, this would be the question of the day. Think of a spin-off. I'm not wording it as a question now. Okay, what is your favorite spin-off of a game that is possibly better than the core installment? I think in my case, I would go with something like Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, which is like my favorite game of all time, as I've often stated. So that should be pretty obvious. I just absolutely adore that game to pieces. If I had more time, I would let's play it for sure, but it's a long game, and I would probably try to complete it. I'm not even exaggerating. I would try to complete it, probably. I've never done the Pit of 100 Trials. I think I told the story somewhere else. Now I'm trying to remember what video it was actually even on. But I remember telling the story in another video. I don't know if it's out yet. If not, you'll get a preview of that future story. But basically, my GameCube was like crashing at the time, like 2005, 2006. So, by the time I finally finished the game, which was like 2005, 2006, because I was young then, I would have been, let's see, 2005, I would have been like 10. So, I did not do very well in the game. It took me like a year to beat the final boss. And in that year, by the way, I played the game like 5 times, up until the final boss, I'm pretty sure. And one time I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna play the final boss. And I think I got crushed. I think I got completely decimated. But I think on my second try I was able to finish it. And it was like, to 10-year-old me, that was like the happiest moment of my life, basically. Because it literally was my favorite game, even before actually finishing it. And actually finishing it, it was so satisfying. And yet I was scared the entire time because my GameCube was so close to crashing. I was getting disk read errors, like, constantly, with other games. So when I finally finished it, it was like, oh my gosh, please, please don't crash. And I was actually able to get through all the credits without it crashing, and I felt so good afterwards. But because of that, and the lack of save points within the Pit of 100 Trials, I have never even fought Bonetail. I've seen little snippets of the Bonetail fight, but I've never actually fought him myself. So if I were to ever Let's Play Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door, that would definitely be something I'd want to do. I would probably lose like hours of progress though, so kind of a daunting task because it takes like 2 hours to get to Bonetail. Maybe another 10 to 30 minutes to fight him. So I'm also going under the assumption that Bonetail's actually a boy dragon, because Hooktail's a girl. Yeah, they revealed that kind of late into the game actually. They don't really tell you that up front. Yeah. Super Paper Mario also. It would be a little bit tricky because you have to actually do the Pit of 100 Trials, like... Okay, first of all, there are 2 pits. There's not just 1 pit, there's 2. Second of all, the second one you have to do twice. Yeah, you have to play through the second Pit of 100 Trials twice. First time through, you're like, well, that was impressive, but I'm not that impressed. Wow, I just made the final boss, the super boss, sound completely tsundere, actually. But then you have to, he's like, oh, you just have to go through it again, and maybe I'll fight you then. Which he does, he's not a liar, as far as I know. I've never seen the super boss of the game. So I'm just assuming that's how it works. But yeah, it would be really, really intimidating trying to do a 100% run of a lot of the Paper Marios. I am not going to say anything more about the Paper Mario 1 Let's Play that's incoming after 2 games, Super Mario Sunshine and another one. And I'm not sure if I should say what the other one is. I think I already said so in another video. I think I already said it's Pikmin. I already did Pikmin 2, and then Pikmin 4 was announced to be in development. And then I was like, you know what, drop everything I'm doing, I'm just gonna do Pikmin next. I don't care if like everyone does Pikmin, I want to do Pikmin 2. As in the adverb, not the number. I'm gonna say Pikmin 2. T-O-O. Not to spoil too much, but I had just this... Okay, one day was bad. Like, one day I had to play about 5 times. No, 10 times. Yeah, there's just one day I had to play like 10 times. I had like 10 failed recording attempts. But like the first like 5 days or so of the playthrough, perfect. Like, I don't think I beat my best score actually, because I had a really slow distance spring. But I just completely aced the Forest of Hope. And also the the Forest Naval went really fast. And also I didn't encounter like the Wollywog or Bulborb crushing glitches too much. And that's why day 8 of the Let's Play is like super disastrous, because I encountered the crushing glitch like 10 times in a row. And the times I didn't encounter the crushing glitch, a Pikmin would die from something other than it, like a sheer grub with their glitchy invincibility frames. So yeah, there was like one day that was really disastrous. I think there were a lot of really good moments as well to look forward to. Some really funny, unexpected things happened in that Let's Play. Like breaking enemy AI. Like there was this one time I just completely broke the enemy AI, and it was actually really funny. Well, it's Halloween, and we have 84 into 80, so 84 divided by 80 would actually be like 0 point something. I want to do math now, because I just did a math final. I did okay, I got like 150 out of 200, like a 75. I'm not complaining, because it's like calculus. So basically he was like, I'll give you your reward. I didn't read the text because I was talking about math. And the main game's the Halloween event involves basically getting pranked. I'm not exactly upset that they changed that in this game, but I do miss it because it is a better event, arguably. I'm going to use this card because I can. I won it, fair and square. Wow, low card game too, I should point that out. Also talking about like Final Fantasy and Pikmin, that I completely lost track of everything that was going on around me. 73 would be better than 43. I think that's what the other space was. 46. Yeah, that 89 would have been good, but otherwise it doesn't matter because look how close this game is. My loyal subjects, you have labored hard for the past month. Very happy that you did the job for me as promised. Reward all your efforts with some happy points. Okay, so you get a base 20 if you meet the quota. Furthermore, I'll be handing out some bonuses. Isabelle, 47 pieces, Digby, 42 pieces. I'm going to give you extra happy points for all the candy you collected. You get those happy points anyway. Whoever collects the most will get the happy points. The additional 20 is the bonus for, collecting everything. So that's the Halloween event, and that's the last major event in this game that I haven't actually shown. Tweedledee, it's time to see the final results. I'm picturing like Mario results screen music playing. I'm trying to remember what game this result music is from. I want to hum it, but I don't think that'd be very pleasant. Gosh, what's that music from? It's from one of the Mario parties, I'm pretty dang sure. But anyway, scan is the one more, maybe 2 rounds. One if I'm really lucky, because I'll do it off screen, and I'll have unlocked every costume for Isabelle. Not so lucky with the Digby. I was almost thinking about making a video of all the amiibo costumes for Wave 1. Problems. 1, I don't have Lottie, and 2, yeah, I only have like a month to grind happy points in this, so I'm not feeling that inclined. In any case, that is the last board map I want to show, so next time on Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, we will be going back to the island for some more islandy stuff. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you then.